Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2 and I'm back again with another series review. I just saw the end of In the Flesh for Season 1 and this episode was emotionally charged. Um, I was kind of infuriated at Amy, and I know I shouldn't be because I really like her character, but I really want she and Keirnan to be together rather than the choice that she made, because she and Keirnan are both rotters and they deserve each other, but I'm not in charge of that, so oh well. Anyway, I thought that the episode was absolutely wonderfully done, and it was more serious and emotional than previous episodes. Um, I also learned something about Nick's father that disturbed me on a very emotional level and made me hate him with a vehement hatred, which I usually don't. I liked the flashback that they had for Keirnan, and you get to love his mother even more deeply than you have before, because she's just such a compassionate individual, and her traits are just so admirable as a human being, and it makes you have faith in humankind itself for acceptance. And there's a lot of that in this particular episode. The whole theme of tolerance, acceptance, and there's some really dark black humor about necrophilia that was kind of disturbing. On another level, it was actually funny, and I thought, why am I laughing about this? I should be disturbed and revolted at a very guttural level, which I really wasn't. I found myself laughing in spite of myself. Uh, it was a really excellent episode. It was absolutely superb. Makes me wonder what they're going to do with the characters in the second season, how far the HBF is going to go, more about the institution itself, the one that rehabilitates those with PDS. I also like this episode because Jem and Keirnan are actually working together for once instead of biting each other's heads off, and they're more like friends. Of course, siblings always have their rivalries, but these two siblings seem to coexist rather well, despite the fact that Keirnan is a sufferer or a survivor of partially deceased syndrome. Um, I like the dynamic between those two, and I like Jem, even though she's a character who's very multi-layered, and she's confused. She's a typical teenager, and it's nice to see a true-to-life character such as hers, and she doesn't know whether she wants to stay with the HBF or whether she wants to leave them, or whether her cause or whether their cause is worthy of following, or whether it's the right path to take. What is humanity? That's the whole question here. If somebody is only partially deceased, or a zombie in this case, or they call them rotters in the series, is that considered humanity or not? It's all that ethical question, that gray line. Gray being the color of the skin of the zombies. I didn't mean to make that illusion there, but it was clever on my part. That's what I get from reading too much. But all in all, I love the series. I absolutely cried my eyes out when Keirnan goes through his ordeal. I'm not going to say what happens, because what occurs in this episode will just rip your heart out. It's just, ugh, it's so tragic, and you just feel so utterly torn asunder by it, and you just want to take Nick's father and slap him silly, or beat him to a pulp, because he has no conscience, and you think that he is a terrible human being. Well, he's not even a human being. He is worse than that. He is an abomination. Um, I was so angry. I was literally I don't do I don't really talk when I'm watching anything like a film or anime or whatever it may be, or even when I'm reading. I do giggle if I'm reading something like Doctor Who Shada. I laughed my butt off when I was reading that. Or books similar to that just give me a good chuckle. But when I watch something like this, or Doctor Who, I can become very, very emotional. There have been times where I actually have yelled at my television screen. I would go, "Dang you, Moffat!" I have a meltdown, and I know a lot of fans out there will feel the same way. But I don't know who the producer of the show is. I'm like, "Darn you! Why did you do that? It didn't deserve it!" Just flipping out all over the place, and I needed somebody to shush pat me. But I didn't have that. Oh well. Anywho, it's a very emotionally charged and intense episode. And a rather good one at that. And if you had watched both of the first run episodes of In the Flesh, then you'll understand where this is coming from. And you probably have your theories like me. But we just gotta wait until 2014 summer-ish, I think. But until then, I will be looking forward to reviewing episodes of Defiance as well as Sinbad, which as a child I absolutely adored reading the adventures of Sinbad. And I don't know what it is, but Sinbad was always one of my absolute favorite stories, just because it's so exotic and different, and so much adventure and action and peril that he goes through. And he's very clever, and he's very cunning. And he may not be the best role model, but hey, I mean, he has just this charisma about him that I really like, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he is portrayed. I saw the trailer and I thought, ooh, this looks really superb. This looks absolutely tremendous and exciting, and I'm very eager to see it. And my inner fangirl is going, yes, finally, Sinbad, woo! And I felt like throwing a little party. I thought, why isn't anybody over here partying with me? Because, that's just the way it is. But not forever, so. I just recently finished another story. It is on fictionpress.com. I am working on a modern-day retelling of Robin Hood. My main character is actually female. Imagine that. I told my friend in England about that, and he's like, but you wouldn't want to do that to Sherlock Holmes. I'm like, no, I wouldn't, because it just wouldn't work. But with Robin Hood, I think it can. And I really want a good role model for girls here. And I really think it would function in a modern-day setting. And I'm putting it in Chicago, just because I think it would work best in Chicago. I don't know why. I've been through Chicago before. I like Chicago. There needs to be a story told in Chicago again. This will be it. I'm writing another story. It's a romantic tale, and it's going really well, and I'm very, very pleased with it. I'm writing a Homestuck. I'm writing a Homestuck skit. Well, there are different skits within the skit itself, and my favorite one is cups and the cups and cakes. So what good things mother makes. You gotta take tea, but you take it with me. Before Spinal Tap became huge, they were known by a different name. I forget what the name is. Don't quote me on that. Sorry, my heavy metal memory is not working. But they wrote that song, and it got some good ratings on the radio, and I just thought it would make a kind of a funny skit when they Gamzee bakes Nepeta Equius. Karkat comes in and she tries to stop Equius and Nepeta from eating the sopapri, but unfortunately they've consumed it, so they're all just, you know, high. They're all just tripping, and you know, they sing that song together as they're just so drugged up, but it's like but but like, no, drugs are bad. I really shouldn't. Well, being high is funny as heck. I'm sorry, it just is. I've never had it happen myself, and I don't want to go there because my brain is too important and too precious to waste to burn with a little bit of experimental use of whatever, which I never want to do. I just don't want to traipse down that dark and dingy and dangerous and perilous highway. I'll just avoid and abscond. What else am I writing? A whole lot of parodies. A lot of them are Homestuck based. I'm doing parody of whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. I'm gonna be doing a parody of Melt with You. Tan shoes and pink shoelaces is gonna be in my skit. It's actually a little fashion show that Kanaya has with Gamzee. I don't know where I'm coming up with these ideas. I swear to Almighty Glob. It just all comes to me in my sleep, or I have days like, oh, this would be fun. I want to do a beach skit too, because I just think it would be hysterical to see their reactions to buckets, and I know it's kind of sophomoric for me to do that, but why not? I mean, I have seen that. I never have seen that kind of thing. I've seen a reaction to a bucket in a skit before, but I want to see a beach skit done, and I'm going to be throwing that in there just for a little bit of extra fun. And my brain is how do I explain it? It's different from, well, my humor is kind of zany at times, and it's a little sometimes it can be sophomoric, but most of the time it's kind of pun based, and I get a lot of my inspiration from vaudeville and burlesque. I know this is really old-fashioned stuff, but it's a classical comedy, and you just cannot go wrong with it. And you know, a lot of it's going to be double takes and just the things I grew up with. And my mom, she got me into Abbott and Costello and the Marx Brothers and Three Stooges, and I'm probably one of the few women I know who is a huge Three Stooges fan. I just absolutely love the Three Stooges, and my favorite Stooge, of course, is Curly. Certainly, Judgy. Yeah, I love Curly. Curly, and then Mo, because I think I can relate to Mo the most of all, because he's the leader of the group, and he feels like he's surrounded by a bunch of nincompoops all the time, even though they're all stupid in their own right. I'm exactly like Mo. I'm like, what are you knuckleheads doing? Come on. But yeah, I would be the leader of the group and try to get everybody into shape and do their job to the best of their ability and be efficient. But I wouldn't be so tight, and I'm not really a stick in the mud type. I have a good my sense of humor, like I said, my sense of humor is out there. I mean, sometimes people are looking like, what did, it's like a chemically inspired humor or physics. I do a lot of physics jokes, and people are like, okay, not everybody's gonna understand that, but that's my humor. But oh well. Another thing I wanted to mention, I really don't have an awful lot other than my externship's coming up pretty soon. It's going to be close to home, so that's a good thing. The only other thing I wanted to update about was the recent passing of a dear role model. Well, yeah, I could say he's a role model, and idol for me. That was James Gandolfini, and when I read it yesterday, I was absolutely stunned. I was at a loss for words. Yeah, me, loss for words. Kind of unusual, and they had a tribute to him on CBS, and he was a good soul. I remember reading those stories that they had about this tour bus that would take trips through Little Italy with the fans, and I'm sorry. And they would have lunch with them, and he Dominic Chianese would sing for them. He's got a CD out. It's called Hits or something to that effect. But when they had the tribute for him, I just couldn't help but cry, because I was kind of hopeful that I would be able to actually meet him and tell him how much he's inspired me. I guess I'm gonna have to wait. That he was so young, and stinking cardiac arrest took his life. It's not fair. It's not fair. But sorry. I didn't expect to cry, but I have so much respect for Jim, and I feel like I can call him that, and hopefully he won't be offended, but he was a beautiful, beautiful soul. And like Dominic said, the world has lost another light too soon. My condolences, they go to the Gandolfini family, and I pray that they can get through this time of tribulation. And it'll be a wake to end all wakes, but I just hope that he realizes how much of a good impact he made, and he has, and it'll be an everlasting effect that, there's never going to be another James Gandolfini. That's all I wanted to say about him, and I think that's where I'm going to end my review and my updates as well. So I shall see you again next time. Bye.